Last year, France became one of a growing number of European countries to radically transform the way the law deals with prostitution. Buying sex is now illegal, but selling it isn't. The law was created in part to protect sex workers from prosecution, but many of them actually say the new law is actually pushing them further underground and therefore exposing them to far more danger. And transsexual prostitutes are a disproportionate number of those affected. This report by Melina Hue with the help of Patrick Lovett.
Me llamo Zuley, tengo 37 años de edad exactamente cumplidos. Soy de origen latina del país de Perú. Bueno, todos los días yo tomo el metro para yo poder realizar mi circulación de donde yo vivo hasta yo donde trabajo. Una chica transexual como yo tiene que irse al bosque de Boulogne. Se pasan muchas cosas dentro de ese ángulo del bosque. Hay muchos cientos de chicas que uno sufre muchas cosas, sufre violencias, agresiones físicas, verbales, de parte de los clientes.
Zuley was a stylist back in Peru. Diagnosed as HIV positive, she could no longer afford to pay for her treatment. She arrived in France 1 year ago and was soon prostituting herself.
Bueno, esto es mi gas de pimienta para protegerme. Lo tengo en mano, junto a mi bolsa.
Over the past year, the number of prostitutes suffering from physical abuse has more than doubled, according to NGO Médecins du Monde. In this large public park just west of Paris, 80% of sex workers are transsexual. Vanessa from Chile has finished for the day. A prostitute for the past 20 years, she says working after 10 p.m. is too dangerous.
Es lo único que me puede proteger acá. Si no tengo esto, la bomba de gas, mi vida se finí.
¿Por qué?
¿Por qué? Porque los agresores vienen con cuchillo.
In June, a 50-year-old Bulgarian woman was found dead here, stabbed 7 times in the back, in a case that attracted minimum media coverage. It's difficult to determine exactly how many deadly attacks occur in these woods. Disappearances aren't always reported, and calls to the police are rare. Vanessa, for example, has stopped calling authorities for help.
No todos, no estoy generalizando a todos, pero hay algunos policías que nos toman como objeto de burla. Se ríen entre ellos, me tratan de misiú. Cuando nos agarra la policía, nos hace desnudar, nos hace ver nuestras partes. Entonces, y te tratan como hombre. Y si tú le reclamas algo, le dices, señor, usted me ve como una mujer, trate como una madame. Y ellos dicen, no, que en tu documento está de hombre. Para evitar ese mal gusto, prefiero no ir.
Solicitation is no longer an offense in France after the law was changed in 2016. But clients are now liable to pay a fine of 1,500 euros. The new law is driving the trade further underground, bringing more dangers to prostitutes. A month after the murder of the Bulgarian woman, we head to meet some of Bois de Boulogne's workers, this time in daylight, because they're here to protest. Monica Leon from Argentina is a transsexual activist. She's been living in France for 13 years and wants to shed light on the violent attacks her co-workers have been subjected to. She hopes to motivate these women, aiming to organize a protest outside the National Assembly, a first step in a fight she wants to take to the very top.
Tous les crimes qui se sont commis ici au Bois de Boulogne, il doit arriver à Nations Unies. Pas seulement à la commissariat et aux tribunaux français. Non, il faut arriver à Nations Unies. Parce que les crimes sont très graves.
With a piece of paper in hand, the demonstrators revealed their countries of origin. They're invited to open up and to share their often difficult experiences.
Yo me acerqué a despedirme porque era un chico gentil, a darle un beso en la mejilla de despedida. Y en eso él me agarró contra su cuerpo con su mano, claro, con su mano derecha y con la mano izquierda es la que me apuñaló, así. Así.
In less than 30 seconds, Zuley was stabbed 8 times. All the while, her attacker remained silent. Now she no longer wants to cover up her scars.
Yo quiero que toda esta situación se lleve a un contexto político para que todas las chicas que trabajamos acá en el bosque de Bolonia tengamos protección contra la agresión Y para eso hay asociaciones que apoyan, que ayudan y todo esto, para que en realidad necesitamos apoyo.
A number of charities and small NGOs come to the woods to try to support the
Allez,
prostitutes.
viendez, ma bande.
One of them, Magdalena, lets us join its volunteers as they do the rounds.
J'espère qu'on va rencontrer Karim.
At the head of this Catholic organization, a priest who doesn't fit the usual mold. Nicknamed Padre, he's been working with prostitutes for over 20 years.
On a commencé à pied.
We first began on foot. Later, we had a little hatchback car loaded with drink containers so we could give them coffee, hot chocolate.
Et puis en fait, l'idée c'est de passer un moment.
The idea has always been to spend time with them, to listen and to help them, so they can see that friendship is possible, beyond them selling their body and earning money. I'm a priest, but I'm not here to judge or lecture
Je
them.
suis prêtre, mais je suis pas là pour leur faire la leçon ou leur faire la morale. Et un thé pour le 5. Ça va toi?
Ça va,
Tu tiens le coup?
tranquila.
Here, volunteers give out coffee and cake, among other things.
Alors, on distribue des préservatifs, tu vois, du gel, bien entendu.
The volunteers also give advice, help with residency paperwork, getting an STI test, or signing up for free French lessons. But often this counts for little in the face of the harsh working conditions in this dangerous place.
La copine, qu'elle fait si après elle vient comme coton, elle fait
Donc elle a tout donné.
Alors le type lui a piqué son argent, lui a pris son argent.
Oui,
Ah, ouais.
c'est ça.
Et toi, tu t'es fait agresser, toi aussi?
Oui, oui, oui. Après qu'uno entre al bois, des gens qui viennent comme coton, ils disent sous sin capota. Fais l'amour sin capota. C'est vrai. Et si pas uno le fait, elle vient te trapper, te fait comme el coton. C'est vrai.
A few weeks later, we meet Monica Leon again. It's the day of her much-awaited demonstration, but the activist finds herself almost alone. Of the 310 prostitutes invited, only a dozen turned up.
Habrás visto que no vinieron tantas chicas porque es normal que el miedo está presente y la coerción, la manipulación y la explotación es presente.
Those who have braved the demonstration have a clear message to express.
Que el primer grito en esta reunión es justicia por la joven rumana de 22 años, quemada viva con ácido y su cuerpo arrojado en el lago de Port Dauphin, Antonella, ecuatoriana, Claudia Paulina de Brasil.
Despite the minimal attention this protest is attracting, Monica isn't letting her goal slip out of sight to bring her fight to French MPs and, who knows, maybe the United Nations.
And joining me now is French sociologist Nasira Guionif, who's been watching that report with me in the studio. Thanks for coming in. This is a tough issue for authorities to deal with. I mean, by changing the law so that the onus now falls on the client and not the sex worker, it was done with the best of intentions, no doubt, but it also now seems to have resulted in a whole new series of other problems.
Yes, this is something that has been put to the front when there was a discussion about the new law. It was about highlighting the fact that this would push the sex workers into more vulnerability, more precariousness, and marginalize them, so much so that they could not protect them from their clients.
So what needs to be done?
First, I think that the French state and the French society has to address the multiple stereotypes that are pushing these women in some sort of isolation. One has to do with the fact that they are migrants. The other has to do with the fact that they are women, they are transgender. And something that was not mentioned but has to be highlighted also and underlined is the fact that most of them are undocumented. So
they have no status as such.
So, of course, calling for the police would be a way to expose themselves to deportation. And obviously, they prefer to face the kind of violent nightlife they have to live with, rather than to be expelled from France.
For our international viewers, I want to talk a little bit about what we see there, which is the Bois de Boulogne, which is this large part on the western fringes of the centre of Paris, right next to some of the city's most exclusive residential neighbourhoods. But, you know, by night it turns into this underground world of horror I mean, what can be done for people working in that part of Paris?
Well, it has become a major location for sex workers because there are people going there and looking for these women. So it's not just something that they decided to invest. It's something that has been going on for decades. Actually, it used to be a place where you would find French sex workers, and now they have become immigrants and transgender. But it has always been a place that has this kind of double face, Janus kind of experience. On the one hand, it's very wealthy and bourgeois location, and on the other, it's the place where the bourgeois go looking for the women that they can afford.
Nasira, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much. And that's it for this edition. Do stay with us here on France 24.